Lewis, I'm 29 years old, and I don't think I've said this out loud to anyone, but I genuinely hate the way I look right now. Not in a dramatic, crying in the mirror way, but more in a quiet, constant, and exhausting way that follows me around everywhere. It hit me a few weeks ago when someone tagged me in a group photo. Everyone else looks normal, relaxed, and I look like the version of myself I keep pretending I'm not. I stared at that picture for almost half an hour, zooming in, picking apart every angle, convincing myself it was just the camera. But I knew it wasn't. What I'm scared to admit is how much this is affecting my life. I started avoiding nights out because I don't want to be the one person who ruins the group photos. I make excuses for why I can't go swimming. I've even pulled away from dating because I don't want anyone to see me in real lighting. Here's the brutally honest part. I don't know if I want to change my body or if I just want to stop hating myself. My question is, how do I rebuild my self-worth when seeing myself feels like a punishment? I'd like to say I don't relate to this one. I'm too sexy for that. I'd like to say I don't relate to this one, but once upon a time I guess I did. We all look at our bodies and all think about ourselves, think if we're good enough, if we appear good enough. We've all at least done it once. I actually heard a stat that body dysmorphia is actually higher in men than it is in women, and I'm pretty sure this is the case for the first time in a long time. And the thing with this issue is, it's all about perspective, because body dysmorphia is a thing, and it's a thing in people that go to the gym as well, that have a six-pack, that have muscles, that look great. You might look at them and say, God, you look great, and you're suffering it. You might be overweight, your body shape might not be what you want it to be, like Lewis's, and you'll have the same negative thoughts. So I think this doesn't necessarily apply to someone who has a bad body as well. It is all about perspective, because someone who has a good body can't see it. To me, most things in life go to appreciation, goes toward, can you actually appreciate what you have? Because if you can't, you're never gonna, no matter what, no matter the amount of work that you put in, you're never gonna feel good about things. Like this scenario, you're never gonna feel good about yourself if you can't see the positives. Now, this could be different. You could be a fat piece of shit, which is brutal to say, but sometimes honesty is the way. Do you know what I mean? What effort are you making to make yourself feel better? Are you going to the gym? Are you doing any form of exercise, going for a walk, whatever little tiny thing that it is? Are you attempting to do it? If you're attempting to do it, absolutely, fantastic. You're on the right path. But if you're not attempting to do anything, you are just sitting there and moaning, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. All you got to do is pair that with a little bit of action. I talk a lot about opening up about your emotions and how you feel in life. And it can get to a point where you are doing it wrong, or it is wrong, because it could be that you're just talking, you're just moaning constantly, you're just looking for sympathy, you're just talking, and they're just words. When there's no action paired with opening up to people, it's not right in a sense. You've got to always try and act. So that's why I would say, what are your actions? And this problem matches with the foundation that I always talk about, eat, sleep and train. And it's part of the train category, because if you're not training, if you're not doing some form of exercise, and when I talk about exercise, it's just anything basic that gets your heart rate up. Like I said, going for a walk, literally anything. You don't have to be running marathon and being a powerlifter, a bodybuilder. You don't have to be a professional at a sport. Just get up and move. Whether that's secluded to your home, whatever movement you can do, just do it, because it affects the mental state that you're in. And not only that, you'll get to a point where you're in this position like Lewis. Because there's two ways you can attack this problem. It can be, well, Lewis is right to have these thoughts about himself and how he looks and be a bit ashamed of how you look. And then thoughts can be justified because you might not be putting in the work to achieve something that you want. I can't give you sympathy if you're moaning about your body, but you're not putting in any effort to change it, or even have the intention to change it, I guess. It is hard getting to the gym. It is hard starting exercise. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. It's definitely not easy, but it's what you're doing. Are you trying? That's always the important thing with everything. Are you trying at least? Then we can talk. And the other side of the coin that we can attack this on is, are you working, but you've got high standards for yourself? So it's sort of in your head. And it's a tough one because you can't necessarily ask people, listen, what's my body? What do you think of my body? Am I right or wrong to be feeling ashamed of myself? Most people aren't going to tell you that you look like a fat piece of shit, because that's too brutal. It's too rude, fat shaming and all that. And sometimes you might not be on that drastic scale that someone might say, listen, you're average. Even average is a bit of an insult. People aren't really going to tell you that. If people are going to tell you that, in my opinion, you've got good friends. If you've asked for it, not if they just call you a fat piece of shit every fucking day. Unless it's a joke, obviously. But we can talk about this mental state that you're in. Also, of why do you want to look better because you want to impress people? You want to be impressive. You want to be someone. Or do you just want to feel better in yourself? Which it does sound like that, but also it can get to a point where you're looking for external gratification. You're looking for other people to make you feel good. That's why you're maybe looking at your body and saying it's not good, because other people almost see the true you, or the way you view yourself. Are you happy other than your body, other than how you look? Are you happy with who you are? The characteristics that you have? I'd be betting that you don't have pride, that you don't feel accomplished, like you might not feel like you're working hard enough. They're common things, don't get me wrong. A lot of people in this world don't feel accomplished, don't feel proud of themselves, don't feel good enough. But look and say, is this problem a different issue, a deeper issue than what we think it is? But if it's not, and it is just your physical body, in a sense, it's quite an easy solution. Get to fucking work. The answer's easy, but the action's not easy. Don't get me wrong. But your solution, it's simple. And a lot of the times, the answer is simple. We just don't want to do it. We're just not motivated. We're just not disciplined enough to get the body we want to have. In the world, we're pushed these perfect bodies, this beauty that we see, the cream of the crop when it comes to beauty. And we almost forget the reason for something like that in society is because they're promoting to you. So they want the best of the best, but it isn't the norm. Everyone doesn't have that body shape. But also, not everyone puts in the same amount of work as these models or people that you see that have got muscles when it comes to a guy, or for women, the slim figures. It takes a lot of work, and I think people don't understand how much work it actually takes to get the figure that you want. I know someone who was in a group who has a great figure, the body is amazing, and the friends around them aren't up to the same standard. And they were trying on different clothes, and they were shopping for clothes and stuff like that, and almost taking little digs at them. Or you could sense the jealousy in the air. People saying statements like, oh, I wish I was like that, or that's just your natural body. And what they didn't understand and what they don't see is that person goes to the gym 3 or 4 times a week and works hard 3 or 4 times a week, sweats and has the discipline and turns up and does what needs to be done, when I know that they don't always want to do it. And that's the key thing. We all want this perfect body. We all want, maybe not even perfect, we all want a decent body. But most of us aren't actually prepared to put in the work that it takes for that. Are you prepared to restrict your diet? Are you prepared to plan out a workout? Are you prepared to have the confidence to walk into a gym? To feel that embarrassment, to feel the shyness to get past your anxiety to get into the gym. You're not. So you can't sit here and judge someone else. And this is where I go on to the point for Lewis of the people in the group. What, is everyone around you got abs and muscles and beautiful faces and jawlines with perfect hair? You're judging yourself and you're comparing yourself to apples, but what's around you ain't apples. I guarantee it's not. Because if you're around people who have a body like that, it's piss easy to get into. Just tag along to whatever the fuck they're doing. But it's not like that. It's not as simple as that. So you're afraid to go into pictures, but so's probably everyone else. Everyone else is probably just avoiding it. So give yourself a little bit of credit. See the value in how you're thinking, because you're trying to take accountability for the way your life is. Now, all you got to do is pair an action with that accountability and say, listen, it's simple. Let's get to fucking work. Now, if we're talking about our face and hair, then it's a different story because you can't necessarily help it. Maybe if you got money, you can get plastic surgery or whatever, but fuck that. Look at me. My hair's thinning. There's nothing I can do about it. Get a hair transplant. I can try different methods to keep it. But it also comes down to a point of just accepting what you have. When there's not an action that you can do to change it. And at the end of the day, this is an issue that we're all going to face because we're all going to get old and we're all going to get ugly. Or ugly in a sense when you compare yourself to the young you. When you get older, you're going to get wrinkly, you're going to get a bit more fat on you. The majority of older people are going to be fatter. You're going to get wrinkled. You're going to lose your hair. You're not going to look like you did. So at some point, you're going to have to accept that beauty ain't everything. And I'll move on to this point because I know when I was growing up, let's say in high school or just over the years, you look yourself in the mirror and I can catch myself looking at myself and saying, you know what I mean? I'd like thicker hair. I'd like a straighter hairline. You might want less spots, might want a bit more facial hair, might want a squarer jaw. The longer you look in the mirror, the more you start thinking those things. So in a sense, stop fucking looking in the mirror. And in another sense, maybe you've just not got enough shit to do in life. Like right now at this moment, I don't look in the mirror, think of different ways I would want to look better because I'm too busy. I'm too tired. That's not the priority. I've got too many things going on, too many things to think about to even consider looking at myself and being ashamed. It's when you've got a lot of time to sit and brood on things that you start looking at your imperfection. And about imperfections, no one is perfect. Everyone has fucking flaws in the personality and physically. So if you're aiming for this perfection, fuck that. There is no perfection. And you should care about who you are more than what you look like. You're avoiding taking pictures in the group. Who cares about that? I'm sorry to say, I know it's tough and it's judging a bit. But being brutally honest, maybe your presence is more valuable than the way you look. Maybe the friends around you are happier that you're in the pictures, that you're in the memory than what you look like. It is all about being in the moment, in a sense, and forgetting the fact of what you look like. Half the time you can't even see yourself. Stop the actions of zooming into pictures. If you don't like the way you look in pictures, it's not about stopping taking pictures. Stop looking at the fucking things. Make it not interest you. But it's tough. I do get that it's a tough one because we want to feel beautiful, good about ourselves. And it's tough when we're not. It's a long road, but once you get there, it's easy to maintain. If that's what you want, it's how much do you want to look good? If you really want to look good and it's really affecting you, again, put in the work. You've got to put in the work. And the hard bit is starting that. And if there's no one around you that puts in that work so you know what to do, there's YouTube. There's fucking loads of people telling you how to change your body. Get into it that way. There's loads of personal trainers out there if you can afford them. The easiest way to get into the gym is by doing it with someone. If you can't hold yourself accountable, if you can't be disciplined, start by having a bit of accountability with someone else. Having a bit of accountability in terms of, I've got to show up with this person. Or accountability, I pay for a gym membership, I pay for a personal trainer. It is a difficult one, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's fucking easy, but it's a simple answer. If you actually want to get a better physical body, it's a simple answer. But the complex answer is mentally, you've got to change, you've got to manage yourself, you've got to change how you think about this. And also understand you're not alone with this problem. Every single person has looked in the mirror and looked at the body and judged themselves. Some people obsess about it more than others. And obviously with the statement at the start, with body dysmorphia, it's increasing with time. So you're definitely not alone. Speak to other people about it. How do other people feel about being in pictures? How do your friends feel about the body? Can you all change together? But yeah, enjoyed that one, so peace.